minutes late, I got a funny phone call. My 5-year-old son's principal called my wife. My wife was on the train. And they said, Donald the third. Said, what happened? You know, he's 5. He's a little rambunctious. Donald knocked over his fruit, and he's a little upset. You know, he knocked over his fruit. My wife's like, well, did he get into a fight? He said, no, he just got upset because he really, really wanted fruit. So my wife called me from the train and said, could you run a bowl of fruit over to our son? So I'm a couple of minutes late because I had to get my son fruit or we'd have a meltdown at school. So this is what I'll do. I'm going to tell you how we're going to do the form today. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the office. We're going to talk about tax exemptions. We'll touch base a little bit on challenging your assessment. I really don't want to get into it because I do a kind of winter program on challenging your assessment. But I will touch base on assessment because there's a lot going on there, and everybody should kind of pay attention to some of the things that are going on. So with that, I'm going to take questions at the end. So if you got a question, I'm going to tell you to stick around until the end. I'm only going to talk for about 2.5 hours, so you're comfortable there. All right. See, I made you smile a bit. You looked a little uptight over there, right? So I'll do my formal introduction for you. I'm your favorite public official. I'm Don Clavin. I'm the guy that takes all your money. All right. So this is how we're going to talk. How many of you have actually been to the tax office? Give me a show of hands. Oh, great. Okay, it's a good number of you. For any of you who have never been to the tax office, let me tell you where we're not. We're not located in Town Hall. We have our own separate building. We're located at 200 North Franklin over in Hempstead. We're up by the car dealerships, and we're neighbors with Mazda and Chevy. Used to be Hyundai, but Chevy moved in. And we're like a bank. General office hours are from 9 to 4:45. You come on in. We have tellers behind the glass. We have our information area, and then our back office operations. And we see thousands of people on a regular basis. Last year, we probably saw about 55,000 people come through the doors of the tax office. Well, people just love to pay the tax in person, right? And people usually pay the taxes 1 or 2 times. They usually pay them right away, the first week, or they wait until the last 10 days of every single tax season. So you'll be getting your bills this week. I know you're very excited about that. All right, I tried to plan it so I'd be out of here before you got your bills. I'm kidding. But they're coming, and people will pay in the end. And what happens is we get a lot of people there. We get a big line, and I don't want you to wait online. So what do? Well, we extended office hours, all right? You can pay from the 1st to the 10th of every cycle. You can pay from 8 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock at night. Gives people an option, hey, maybe before you go to the office, you have to drop the kids off or on your way home. In addition to that, we have 2 satellite locations where you can pay your taxes. One at Rockhill Museum and the other at Levittown Hall in Levittown. You can pay that the last 5 days between 9 and 1. And we see roughly, I'd probably say about 2,700 people every single tax cycle who do that. And what's your name? Donna. It's a very interactive program, Donna, so I like to include people. Right, Donna? This is very exciting what I'm about to tell you, so don't jump out of your seat when I tell you this. All right, Donna? But about, I guess, 5 years ago, we opened up the very first drive-through in the history of tax payments anywhere in New York State. Yes, Donna? So from the comfort of your own car, those last 10 days, you can pull up right to the back of the tax office, open up your car window, and just give me all your money. And I know, it's, what could be more exciting, right? You laugh. The drive-thru has become so popular that we had to build a second drive-thru to alleviate that congestion. But the best part about all of it is there's no additional cost. There's no new staff. There's no new rental fees. We do this with existing personnel at existing facilities. Because just like everybody here, I pay taxes. I don't get a freebie for being the receiver of taxes, all right? So, you know what? Why would I want to have to pay more? Again, we can provide a better service and it shouldn't have to cost us more. In addition to that, we want people to know where their money goes. So what do? We change your tax bills. Everybody has a sample first page blue in there. When you get your school tax bill, when you see it, you'll see a chart on it, all right? And this chart represents out of every dollar you sent Don Clavin last year, this is where it went. How much went to the school districts, how much went to the county, how much went to the town, and if you look at special districts, we broke that out as well. And these aren't randomized numbers, folks. This is the actual breakdown for your individual piece of property. Now, how many of you live in an incorporated village? Raise your hand. You're lucky group that's kind of hanging out over here. You get to pay even more property taxes. I don't collect that. But everything else you do pay, your town, county, and school are right here. All right? And what's your name right there? Yes, you. Yes, woman. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Gloria.
Gloria. This is what's going to happen, all right? Gloria tomorrow is going to open up her mail. She's going to see a letter from Don Clavin, and it's going to say, here's your tax bill. What's the first thing Gloria's going to do? Gloria's going to sit down for about 15 minutes to get over the shock of all the school taxes she's paying. And then she's going to say, you know what, I'm going to call Don Clavin and ask him why my school taxes went up. And she's going to call me, and I'm going to say to Gloria, I don't know why your school taxes went up. You have to call your school district. And you know what Gloria's going to do? She's going to take a phone, put it down, and say, I hate government. All they do is dash you around. See, folks, I collect taxes for 33 separate school districts. and I have to make the bills, balance the bills, process the bills, mail the bills, collect the money, and then I just give it to the school district. So they don't even pay for the postage on this. We have to pay for it. So what do we do now? Now, right above that chart, I list your school district name and your superintendent's direct phone number for you to call him or her personally and talk about taxes. And superintendents were so excited when I did this for the very first time. Had 31 called to express their displeasure. And then they kind of realized, you know, a resident just wants to talk to somebody. That's what it's all about. They just want someone to explain to them what's going on in the school district and why the money went up. And now school districts have really embraced that. They've taken the time and they'll talk to the residents, and it's gotten a lot better. There was a school district when I first did this, and I'm sure it was just an accident, I'm sure. But unfortunately, the day after I mailed out the bills, the superintendent's phone number changed the next day. And I'm sure it was such a terrible accident that when I mailed out the receipts, I put a brand new phone number in blood red, so there's no escaping it, all right? Now, the second page you don't have, so don't go looking for it. You get your two stubs, stub 1, stub 2, general information about your taxes, the 2 important numbers on the second page. You get your, right here, current Nassau County assessment, and then on the other side you get your last year's Nassau assessment. Why? Because I want you to see it. They keep it the same, they increase it, decrease it, and that's important when you're deciding about challenging your assessment. The other bill you get is the one you get after the first of the year. That's your yellow bill, your general tax bill. And again, you'll see it all broken down. You'll see all of your Nassau County taxes. And then the line says your total Nassau County taxes are. Then you'll see all of your town and Hempstead taxes. It says your total town and Hempstead taxes are. And if you live in a special district like a sanitary district, we broke that out as well. The idea is it should be a mystery to see who's picking what out of our pockets. We should be able to look at our bills and see what's going on. And that's why we changed these. And these have been so well received that actually a couple of other townships are looking to switch their bills to mimic our bills because they're a lot cleaner for people. Second page, basically the same as the other one in that you have 2 stubs, stub 1, stub 2, and that same information up top, all right? I'm taking Donna. I gave ground rules in the beginning. No questions till the end of the program, all right? It's okay, and I like you too, all right? So, proud of you, Donna. I'm going to stick around unless you make me nervous, okay? So here it is. So we're going to really go with this card first. Guide to your property taxes, folks. We're going to go through this card right now. This is really what we're here all about today. The key thing to remember is you apply for a tax exemption now through the end of December, all right? So if I talk about something here today, you want to apply for it. You want to apply for it now, all right? You don't want to wait until the end of December because, you know, God forbid you submit the application, you have an error. You send it in today and you have an error, they send you a nice letter saying, you know, before December 31st, please provide this supplemental information. You send a letter the last week of the year and they send you a different one. It says, like, you got 5 business days to get us the information. So if I talk about something here today, you know what, you're going to apply for it. In addition, you might be sitting here and I talk about exemption and say, oh, geez, Don, I don't know if I get that. I don't know how to check my tax bill. In everyone's packet, you all receive this information. It's blank. It says, give me a name, number, whatever your question is. I don't care if it's tax related or you need a treat out or something like that. Just write it down here and give it to me at the end of the form, or one of my assistants will follow up. Let's start with our biggest bill, our school tax bill, all right? There are 2 programs out there. You can only get one or the other, all right? You can either get Basic Star or you can get Enhanced Star, all right? One or the other. How many of you think you get Basic Star? Raise your hand. Good. How many of you think you get Enhanced Star? Raise your hand. How many are like, I don't know which star to get? Raise your hand. That's good. Thank you very much for coming. Here it is. Basic Star goes to almost everybody. The requirements are the following. You have to be a New York State resident. You can only get it on your primary residence. And you got to make less than $500,000 a year, rich woman, so you're out of the mix. Okay, everybody else in the room is good. I'm teasing you. I'm with you. I'm poor. All right. So New York State resident, primary resident, less than $500,000 a year. You apply for the Basic Star now through the end of December. Automatically renewed every single year. All right. Enhanced Star, a little different. Enhanced Star targets senior citizens 65 years or older who make less than $86,300 a year. So Basic Star goes to almost everybody. Enhanced Star is targeted for those senior citizens 65 years or older, 86 or less, all right? Everything, by the way, everything's in the handout, I promise you that. I got you, no problem at all. All right, you apply for the Enhanced Star now through the end of December, and on the application there's an area that says, would you like to be automatically renewed? If you do fill that out, then you're automatically renewed for this program every single year. If you do not check that area out, then you have to reapply for the Enhanced Star every single year. So that's something for you to always check. That's why I said, somebody might have applied for it last year and they're not too sure if they checked it, I can do that for you, okay? In addition, if you're 64 this year and you're going to be 65 next year, you can actually apply for it this year to get it on your tax bill next year. A lot of people don't know about that. All right? Now, let me share with you the following. This is a tremendous week in the Clayton household. It's tremendous. What's your name? What? Brana? I like that. That's a nice name. Brana. This is a very exciting week. Why is it an exciting week? This Thursday, my mother, Rosanna B. Clavin, is turning 87 years old. I know, it's a big week. I'm really excited for Mom. So my 4 much older sisters have decided for my mom's 87th birthday this week, we love my mom tremendously. We're going to send her to the very last casino in Atlantic City. All right? And we are tremendous gamblers in the Clavin household, so we're giving her a roll of quarters to have fun with. All right? My mom's going to get down there. My mom's going to drop the quarter of the machine. She's going to pull the lever. And on my mom's 87th birthday, this Thursday, my mother's going to win $100,000. What's the first thing my mom needs to remember? I'm her only son and I should get the money. You're absolutely right. I like your thinking, Brian. That is considered income. That will take my mom out of the Enhanced Star program. They will drop her back into the Basic Star program, but the following year when my mom's eligible again, my mother has to remember to reapply to get back into the Enhanced Star. And that happens to a lot of people. Maybe that one year you go over that 86.3. They automatically take you out, but they don't automatically put you back in. And people need to remember that. How do you know if you're getting the savings? Well, this gets a little tricky now. Is there anybody in this room who has bought a house since 2015? Raise your hand. Okay. You with me on this one? Or you're like, not too sure. 2015. All right. Anybody that bought a house prior to 2015, this is how it goes. We look at our bill. It'll say Basic Star Enhanced here on the tax bill, school tax bill. And in the middle, there is an amount taken off our tax bill. All right? And that is the amount of the star rate, either Basic or Enhanced Star. And Basic Star can save you, we'll say $750, maybe to $1,100, $1,200. Enhanced Star can save you a couple thousand. So it's a big deal. Right here in the middle of it. It says your tax relief resulting from the star, blue bill. All right?
Okay.
Gotcha. All right. But starting in 2015, new homeowner buyers from 2015 don't get it automatically taken off the bill. You get a check in the mail, all right? And why do you get a check in the mail? This makes no sense to me. I've always had a running joke that you usually get the check like the week before Election Day, if you get my drift. However, I was proven right this year because I don't know if any of you saw about a week ago, the state found out that some localities got the star rate checks in July, some got it in August. Glen Cove, which last time I checked is part of Nassau County, they got theirs, I think, like the week before primary day. For the rest of us, we don't know, for when you're getting it. I do know people in Suffolk County, they can wait till Christmas, they were told. It's a bad idea. It should be all uniform. They should go back to literally just putting it all in the bills because it just takes any kind of silliness out of this system. So for anybody prior to 2015, we're automatically taking off our bills. Anybody who buys the house 2015 on, as of right now, you have to pay the money up front and you'll get a rebate from the state. You'll get the difference. But it obviously differs for where you live in the state. So that's how you know the difference. All right? Now, that's it for your school tax bill. Do the Basic Star and Enhanced Star. All the other programs I'm going to go on from here on in, go to your yellow bill, your general tax bill. Let's stay with our senior citizens theme. If you're a senior citizen, 65 years or older, and you make less than $37,400 a year, you can get up to 50% off your town and county taxes. But let's be honest, if you're a senior citizen, 65 years or older, and you're making less than $37,400 a year, I have no concept how you live in Nassau County, in all honesty, all right? But if you're sitting here and you do qualify for it, take advantage of the program. You apply now through the end of December. We did find out this year that Albany gave our neighbors to the west, New York City, an increase in this amount. New York City residents now can make up to $55,000 a year to get this discount. Amazingly, that didn't translate to us. So we got some sponsors and we had some legislation in Albany to try and get that aid to match the city since we pay more in property taxes over here in Nassau to 55. But right now we're trapped at 37.4. Well, let's hope for the best after the first of the year. All right? But again, if you're eligible, you apply for it now through the end of December. Boom, you'll get it next year on your bill. Veterans. 2 types of veterans programs out there. You can't get both. You can only get one or the other. There's the active wartime veterans discount. That's for vets who served in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, First Gulf War. You qualify, you apply for the veterans discount, boom, automatically renewed. New program out there is called the Cold War Veterans Exemption. That's for military who were called to active duty and saw combat from December 31st, 1945 through December 31st, 1991. All right, you were called to duty, you saw combat, you now qualify for a Cold War Veterans Exemption. There are a number of vets who actually met that criterion. I think it's like 5,000 in the town of Hempstead alone who are falling between the cracks. All right, you can only get one or the other. You can't get both, but both have an important provision. What's it called? It's called the surviving spouse provision. What does that mean? My dad served in World War II. Though my father was a veteran, he passed away 14 years ago. My mother, as a surviving spouse, is entitled to continue to receive the veteran's discount with the catch. You can't be divorced from the veteran, and you can't remarry. Okay, that's the catch. So my mom, no date, because that's a very important discount for my mom, all right? But you giggle, we giggle. I'm taking questions at the end. You giggle, you'd be amazed how many times we catch spouses that don't know about the surviving spouse provision. I always tell a story. 10 years ago, Franklin Square, I remember it so vividly. With the library today, we had a nice woman. She lived in Franklin Square her entire life. Her husband was a vet. He passed away like 20 years earlier. And he served in World War II. And she was a widow. She didn't know she was entitled to that veteran's discount. She lost a decade of a discount she was entitled to because she didn't know about it. And they're never going to give her that money back. Like if you owe extra, they come after you for extra years. But if they could have given you something, they're not going to give it to you. That's why I said we joke a little bit, but it is everybody in this room. But I do stress you always talk to your relatives, particularly senior relatives, that they know about that surviving spouse provision. Volunteer firefighters, EMT. You can get 10% off of your town and county taxes as a volunteer firefighter EMT. This is a little unique. You become eligible after 5 years of service. Then you have to reapply every single year. Year 20 is the last year, then it becomes an automatic discount. Why do they have this? Look, one, it is so expensive to live here on Long Island. Husbands and wives are working one if not two jobs. You're losing volunteers in every community organization. If you go below a certain level of staffing in a volunteer fire department, you're going to go to a paid fire department. And guess who pays for something like that? All of us do. All right? So that's why they created this. One, to say thank you to these men and women who are doing right by their neighbors. But two, as an incentive to get people to join the ranks. And it is a successful program in that respect. Home improvement exemption. I'm not a tremendous fan of it, and you'll understand when I'm done. You do an improvement on your house that increases the value between $3,000 and $80,000. That's the cap. You can apply for improvement where over a time period you get a reduced tax bill. All hypothetical numbers. Let's say you do the improvement. Year one, hypothetical, your tax bill's $8,000. Year two, it's $9,000. Year three, boom. It goes up until the last year of the program. You pay a full amount of taxes. All right. The idea is you do an improvement, you can pay off with that reduction. However, what's an improvement? All right. New walkway or windows or siding in your house is not the improvement they're looking for here, folks. They're asking for like a dormer. They're looking for an extension. That's the sort of improvement they're looking for. But I feel very, very confident standing here telling you right now, if you do a dormer or an extension on your property, all right, when this program ends, I feel very confident letting you know the Department of Assessment is going to make sure they show up at your house, adjust your assessment, and your taxes are going up. And I just tell people, just go into this stuff with your eyes wide open. Just know what the consequences are. Hey, maybe you have a family member, you got to take them on. God bless you. Take advantage of the program, but just recognize after the ends, you're most likely going to pay more taxes. That's what I can stress to people. All right. Last one on this card. Is the exemption for persons with disability and limited income. This is dealt with on a case-by-case basis. The household income cannot exceed $37,399, and you have to have a qualifying disability. As I said, nobody needs to know anybody's business at this tax form. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about this, give me your name and number at the end of the meeting. We'll either have you come down to the office or we'll set up a telephone conference to talk about your circumstances in private. It's not a big deal. We'd be happy to, all right? Now, that's this card in a nutshell, folks. All right? The key thing to remember is, you have to apply for these programs now through the end of December. And you can either apply online or, Joe, do we have applications here today? Best news of all. Applications are here today, too. All right? So you can do it one way or the other. All right? But you got to do it, and don't wait until the end. It's October 1st. We can get these applications in now. All right? And also remember, you're not one and done. You can qualify for multiple exemptions. You might see sitting here right now, you qualify for the enhanced star on your school tax bill. And then on your general tax bill, you qualify for a senior citizen's discount, a veteran's discount, and a firefighter's discount. So it's seeing how many you qualify for and taking advantage of, all right? But on December 31st, this ends, your opportunity. Then you have to wait a whole year to apply for it, and then wait for a whole year to close, all right? Now, but on January 1st, you get a new opportunity, and that is the opportunity to challenge your Nassau County assessment, all right? And I'm just going to touch base on this a little bit, because there's a lot going on. We don't know what's really happening, but I'll guarantee you one thing. Let's show of hands. How many of you in this room have gotten letters from any kind of firms in the last week or two to challenge your assessment? Everybody raise your hand. I find it very, very curious. They send out the letters now. I want you all to remember the following. You don't need a law firm to challenge your Nassau County assessment. Every one of you is entitled to challenge your assessment yourself, and every one of you is more than capable of challenging your assessment yourself. Is there some work involved? Yeah, there's some work involved. Is it something you can't handle? No, every single one of you can handle it, all right? So before you sign up with one of these firms, just remember that. And there's nothing wrong with using a firm, all right? There isn't. If you want to use a firm, God bless you, go right ahead. Just don't choose anybody who sends you a letter. All right, this is a very lucrative business in Nassau County, folks. You know, Nassau County probably gives out anywhere from $85 million to like $110, $120 million a year in refunds to erroneously assessed properties, all right? What does it tell you? Well, one, shows the system's broken in Nassau County, and two, you make a lot of money doing this for a living, all right? And I've gotten letters from last year. I probably said to somebody, I would bring them in. I saved them. I had a stack of like this, man. It was like 20-something letters, all right? And I tell people, attorneys are nice people. I mean, look at my calling in life. I'm an attorney, I'm a politician, I'm the receiver of taxes. It doesn't get worse than that, okay? But attorneys, contrary to popular demand, they do have hearts. But they don't send out letters to people for no reason. They send you letters because they think they can make money off of you, all right? And just because somebody sends you a letter doesn't mean that's who you should use. Use somebody if you were happy with them. Use them again. Talk to your friends. Talk to your relatives, people that matter, and ask them if they've used anybody, all right? Because people are soliciting you I've never heard of in my entire life. I got solicitations from some guy in Staten Island. I got some solicitation from somebody in Westchester County. I mean, my favorite was last Thanksgiving. I kid you not. Black envelope with orange paper, a Halloween-themed application. Very clever, very good. But I just said, I never heard of the person. And that's why I say to you, just choose wisely. Because the general fee is 50%. They have a processing fee, and that's usually about $35, $40. And then the general fee is 50%, meaning you sign up with me, I get you a $1,000 reduction. The fee is $500, all right? But those fees fluctuate now. Some attorneys are charging 60%. Some attorneys are charging 40%. So that's why I stress to all of you. But I don't want you to sign up with anybody yet, all right? I'm going to do the program. I'm going to be down here. Tony's great. It's like one of my favorite programs to do down here. We get a packed house both days. It's great. I love it, all right? We show you, we bring the applications. I'll go step by step on how to fill out the application. The application is one piece of paper, two sides, folks, okay? As I say to people, it's not War and Peace. It's one piece of paper, all right? Go through it. What you're filling out, relevant information. Information includes things like your name, your address, bedrooms, bathrooms, livable square footage, information I would think everybody kind of knows about their house. And then Nassau County wants you to argue with the number they gave you. And I'm going to go through that. And I tell you how to submit it, how to mail it to them, and then we also, we go through a step-by-step where we have a visual display of how to do this whole procedure online now. Because you can do this all now online. And 10 years ago, I would tell you never to do it online. Actually, I'll kind of urge a lot of you to think about doing it online because they've made it very, very easy. They've made it that when you sign up for the very first time, you create an account so you can go back and log in every single year and not have to refill out the same information. But I'm going to do that in January and February, all right? So you come back for that. If you want to know when the program's going to be, you give me your name and number at the end, and I'll give you a call, send you an email. It's not a problem. But I just know that everyone's being inundated with these letters right now from the attorneys. Let me explain something to everybody. If you decide not to sign up with an attorney till February 1st, they're still going to hire you as a client, just so you know, because they're happy to still try and make money. Don't rush it. You don't need to make the decision right now, all right? But like I said, maybe you're like my in-laws, you're a Florida bird. God bless you. If they don't want to do it, great. Then hire the attorney. But for the rest of you, come back. You come back, we have the whole program, we'll have the applications, all right? But you need to also pay attention to what's going on. There's a lot going on with assessments in Nassau County, and the big variable is no one's telling us exactly what is transpiring. Last week, the county executive signed an executive order setting a new rate. What does that mean for all this? I don't know, because I called I've gotten different versions from the assessment department. I've gotten different versions from the county legislators. And you know what? Nobody knows. And if any of you didn't see today's Newsday editorial, it definitely raised a red flag because the editorial was basically entitled, NASA assessment won't be a, what was it? It won't be painless. I think that's basically what they said. That's a red flag for me, folks. You know what that says to me? It says, ooh, there's something going on. Listen, the county, the county assessor's office has to come out to the communities and explain to you what's going on. Clearly the system is broken in Nassau County, all right? Clearly the system needs to be fixed in Nassau County. We'd like it fixed. We'd like it fixed properly, you know what? And the county executive, I'm friends with, delightful person. I mean, great. But there are things that are happening and we have a lot of questions. There is an argument being made that they're removing a 6% cap that was going to, protect taxpayers from some certain increases. Well, what does that mean? There are going to be people, I don't know. Does that mean that some people could be getting more than 6% increases during these shifts? That's what it would kind of say to me, but they're not telling you, and the county owes that to all of us. I've gone through this before. I've gone through, reassessments. I mean, I could go through the assessors. I could go through Charlie O'Shea, nice guy. Just wasn't a great assessor. You all threw him out of office. And then you brought in Harvey Levinson, another nice guy. He was just a worse assessor than Charlie. Then they got rid of the assessor being an elected position and became a appointed position. Worst thing ever. And that next guy was named by the name of Ted Jankowski. Worst of the worst. Bad dude. Let me tell you right now. He was so bad the guy got fired because I found out he shortchanged the school district $3 million. All right. And then technically you really haven't had an assessor for the last 7.5 years. You've only had an acting assessor. All right. But look, they have to come out and explain because I'm inundated with questions and I don't know what the answers are. How long is it going to be? What's the first tax bill you're going to see with this new change on it? Could my taxes go up 20%? Could my taxes go down 20%? I don't know, and nobody knows, and the county's got to come out and talk to them. And I harken back to, Harvey used to do this a lot. When they were doing some reassessment under Harvey, he would actually go out to the communities and have big meetings, and he'd have like a couple hundred people there. Because trust me, if I told you there's a meeting next week and they're going to talk about assessment, 3/4 of you would go to that meeting. So, the county owes that to everybody around here. And by the way, anybody here raise their house? Raise your hand. Listen to me. I don't know what the deal is with houses that were raised down there. Because, again, I get all secondhand information from the assessor's office, and some people said to me, this could have a significant impact on people who were told to raise their houses. Right? And I said, well, let's let them know. And that's why I said there are many variables. I mean, to think that where do you live?
Oceanside.
Okay, look at this here. This guy's living in his house in Oceanside. Superstorm comes in, bangs this guy's house. He is then told, and I hope you didn't have to do it New York Rising. If you did, God bless you. He had to deal with government agencies. Then he's told he's got to raise his house, and now there's a potential. How is this going to impact you? Because no one will tell me. Are they going to raise your assessment now because your house is so much is raised up? That doesn't seem fair to me. That seems like that could be a tremendous impact for someone like you. So for residents down in Oceanside, Island Park, Long Beach, East Rockwood, there are a lot of questions. So I'm hopeful. I think today's editorial was that red flag that puts the county on notice that they've got to come out and talk to the residents. And the more information I get, I'll be happy to share it to you, but they just haven't given us anything yet. They signed an executive order, and that's all they told us. So, and I've dealt with government enough where I said, ooh, yeah, right, you did exactly, if you could all just turn around and see what this woman did.
Well,
She totally raised her up.
I heard about that, and I want to, because I grieve every year.
Yeah,
and this is a change,
but
no one knows what's going
Nobody knows, no, but I will tell you, let's go back to your most important things. But you need to grieve. You still need to grieve.
I have a question.
I'm going to take the question there, and I'll tell you why you need to grieve. Because last year they did a story, and they had 3 houses, I think they were in Belmont, three identical houses built by the same developer in the same year. She challenged her assessment every single year. You did it like every 4. You never challenged your assessment, all right? When they actually pulled up these 3 identical properties, same year, same footprint, she had $9,000 bill, she had a $14,000 bill, she had almost a $20,000 bill. Why was that? Because she wasn't challenging her assessment. If you're sitting on the sidelines, you are hurting yourself. You cannot sit, you can't say, I can't be bothered, or I'm only doing it. It's every single year. But when it comes to the other answers, it's a wait and see, and I'm hoping.
I have before.
No, I don't want to get into it right
No,
now.
to show that it's one page.
Yeah, no.
I'm just, serious, it's
Yeah.
seriously
Listen,
one page.
she's a good sport. Listen, you gotta get this is what I usually do, and you'll see. If you come back in January, you're gonna have to, you'll laugh at this joke too. I do say, I'm like, here's the application, folks.
That's
This,
what it is.
this is the application,
It's
the challenge
too
assessment. That's instructions,
Yeah.
that you can't even read those. This is the application, all right?
I know it by heart, so I don't
Is that on, is that online?
It's all online. Like I said, you'll come
And
back.
I did it online this year, and it was a no-brainer. And I got
Listen,
my-
am I related to you? Listen, I like you, I like you. Listen, here, a couple of house cleaning odds, and I'll take up some questions. Your taxes are due. You gotta pay me by November 10th. Actually, the 10th is on
13.
I was gonna say that I think the 10th is on the weekend, and I think the 11th is Veterans Day. I think you get an extra, I think you might get until November 12th, this year only. But you gotta pay me. How can you pay me? There are a couple of different ways you can pay me. You can mail me a payment. But if you mail me a payment, we'd like a couple of things. We'd actually like you to put the stamp in there, and we'd actually like you to put a check in the envelope, okay? And the check that's in the envelope, don't date it like November 15th, date it no later than November 10th. And could you make sure the box amount's written as the same amount on the other one? And make sure you sign your check, okay? You giggle, we laugh. This is what happens. You mail me a payment today, you make an error, I send you a nice note saying, you made a mistake on your check, please send it back to me. You mail me a check on November 10th with the error, you get a different correspondence. You get a penalty. By law, I have to have a good payment in my office, postmarked no later than November 10th. I have no discretion on waiving penalties. And it's made that way to avoid any sort of favoritism, you know, but it's tough. I mean, I charged my own uncle 3 penalties in 5 years because he couldn't pay his taxes on time. But it's written that way, right? So what do we do to help to remind you? Well, we used to send out crummy little reminder cards. We don't do that now. We now mail out second half stubs to the residents. In addition to that, we have an email alert system. What's your name right there? Elizabeth. Really? I like that name, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, we do an email alert system. We're like November 5th. You'll get an email from Don Clavin at 8 in the morning saying, hey, good morning, have a great day, it's Don Clavin, send me all your money. And really, that's what you want. We send out text message alerts to remind residents, you know, look, it's bad enough you got to pay taxes. Trust me, there's nothing more frustrating than hitting you with a penalty. Okay? Like I said, you get no joy from it. I know how, it's the worst, it really is the worst part. People have legitimate reasons why they make a simple mistake. I don't have the ability. I've always said the state should build in a one-time, you know, if you're a good taxpayer for 10 years, you make a good, honest mistake, they should have a one-time, ability to, supplement the penalty. They don't have that. So, that's what we have. In addition, there are a couple of different ways you can also pay. You can pay by check, you can pay by money order, you can pay with cash, you can pay with change if you want to come down with change. Yeah, a guy showed up with $3,000 in pennies last year, so don't roll it. I got to take it by law, but I'm going to make you count it out, okay? But I got to take it. You can also pay by credit card, but there's always a but associated with everything. If you pay by credit card, there is a fee. In addition to your tax fee, you have to pay what is called a convenience fee of 2.3% of your tax payment. And that fee doesn't go to us, it goes to the vendors providing the service, right? I sort of said to myself, somebody who said, wow, over here. I sort of said to myself, geez, who would do this? Who would want to eat this extra money and pay? And I didn't think anybody would do it. Millions upon millions of people, millions upon millions of dollars being paid by people with their credit card, including this card right here, this American Express card. I don't leave home without it because Mrs. Clavin tells me not to. Mrs. Clavin loves to pay our taxes with this card. And I finally said to Mrs. Clavin, why are we paying this taxes, and getting this fee? And my wife was nice enough. She sat me down after we put the kids to bed, and my wife explained to me 4 more years of paying all of our property taxes with this card, she's going to Italy first class. I'm very excited for my wife. She never mentions if I'm going with her, but she's getting really close to a great. For a more enticing fee of 90 cents, you can do an e-check directly from your checking account to the town, and that's really, we're getting, again, millions of dollars in payments. And I do want to tell people, funny thing is I do get people say, oh, I do an e-payment. I think it was Chase in particular. People say, oh, I do e-payments with Chase, and I'll be like, don't be so sure of that. What a lot of your banks do, they take your e-payment and then they physically mail out checks to the different government entities. True, absolutely true. This is a true form of electronic payment. And the last thing is, and this is very exciting for me personally, we now give you a choice of how you get your bills. What does that mean? I am not telling you how you get your bills. Nobody should tell you how you should do things. You should have a choice. You can receive your bill this way, or you can now receive your bill this way. All right? Right here's my phone, just so you know, I see it looking back there, all right? What does that mean? If you want, we now are the first township in New York State to offer e-billing, where you can sign up for it, where you will get the bill. But like I said, I stress you, it is your choice, right? Because Elizabeth, I tried to explain this to my mother. My mother carried on for half an hour. I get it. My mom is 86 until Thursday. My mom wants this paper bill. My mom wants to open it up. She wants to see her baby boy's name on the bill. She wants to cuddle the bill, stick it under her pillow at night. That's my mom wants, okay? Listen to me. This is how I do it all, folks. I don't get anything, in the mail anymore. I get it all electronically. And now we want to give you that option. But I get it. My mom, yes, we gave her an iPad for Christmas last year. It's a beautiful coaster, okay? I get it. There are just some people that are just never going to get it. But as time goes on, more and more people will accept the e-billing. But like I said, it's got to be your choice. But the winning part of it is, it's great, yeah, I'm saving some trees. You know what? I'll save thousands of dollars in postage. Because by law, I get to mail you this bill, and after you pay it, I get to mail you the exact same thing that says receipt. And then, I get to mail you this bill. And after you pay it, I get to mail you the exact same thing that says receipt. And then, guess what? I get to do it all over again with the second half of this one, and then the second half of this one. All right? There are 256,000 parcels of property in the town of Hempstead alone. All right? If I get 10% of the residents to just get it all electronically, you know what? Right off the bat, we're saving on postage because it's 50 cents enough. All right? So that's what we're doing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open up some questions. However, all right? You're good. No, put your hand down. I'm going to give you ground rules of questions. All right? Listen to me. If you're just going to raise your hand and say, hey, I don't have any kids in the school district, or I don't have any kids, why do I have to pay these school taxes? No. Yeah, you're laughing. I get it all the time. It's a state issue. All right? Let me deal with questions on exemptions along those lines. So, with that, you were like standing up ready for bear go, okay? You got a good question?
I have a question concerning, I filed for a reassessment and I got it.
Right.
Do I have to file every year?
Yes. When you say you filed for a reassessment, you filed to challenge your assessment? Yes. You do it every single year until the system's fixed. All right? That's what I said to you. Remember that example I gave you in the front row? Every year, every 4 years, never, $9,000, $14,000, $20,000. That's why I said, and it's frustrating. Look, nobody in Nassau County, look, people don't want to be overassessed. People don't want to be underassessed. You want to be fairly assessed. That doesn't exist right now. So until it's fixed, you have to protect yourself by doing it every single year. Okay?
I think that I did it 3 years ago, and the taxes were ultimately went down substantially. Okay. And it seems to.
But you're entitled to do it every single year. Every single year.
And if you don't, it'll go up again?
There's no guarantee, but I would say, I would feel very comfortable if you did it every single year, because there's probably a better chance of it going up if you didn't do it, because I'm not going to lie to you. Pretty much 3/4 of this room is challenging their assessment. And I'll give you this hypothetical. If everybody from here to here, all of you challenge your assessment and are successful, and all of you sit on the sidelines, when theirs goes down, guess who goes up? All of you. Like I said, that's the visual you have to look at this. So until it's fixed, you protect yourself by doing it every single year. I'll go one and then I'll go to you. Yes?
Putting a deed in the name of a trust.
Good question. Good question. Before you ever change the deed to your property, you should always know the consequences. Let's say my mother, Wednesday night, says, Donald, my only boy. I love my only boy. I'm going to put Donald on the deed because Donald deserves a house because he's my favorite of all the children. My mother's correct. I'm her favorite. There's no doubt about it. But my mom putting my name on the deed, it's going to have consequences. I'm not entitled to a veteran's discount. I'm not entitled to the enhanced star. I'm not entitled to a senior citizen's discount. My mother's good intentions are going to cost her thousands of dollars. Before you ever change the deed to your property, go see an elder law attorney. There are documents that can be created by law whereby you stay in your house, nobody can take you out of your house, you keep every one of your tax exemptions, and upon your passing, the house will pass on to whoever it went. Primarily they do it with a lot of kids. But that sounds like you went to an elder law and they did that correctly. It sounds like that's the case. And I'm glad you asked the question, because it does happen. And like I said, it's generally always good intentions. Good intentions of a parent, and then I'll give you the warning. You put the kid on it, then all of a sudden your tax bill's up a couple $1,000. Then you gotta hope the kid's willing to take the name off the deed, and then you gotta reapply for all the programs all over again. So, that's a great question, I'm glad you brought it up.
A trust is
Yep. Different, but if you saw the proper elder law attorney, I'm sure they secure it in that way. You should be able to follow up with them too, and just say, you made it in the fashion that my parent, my elder, keeps their discounts, and they'll answer that question for you if they did it the proper way. Yes, ma'am?
Yeah. I received an enhanced star,
Mhm.
and I was also getting the veterans exemption. But for the past 2 years, I haven't gotten it.
Why don't we do this? Casey? Yeah. See that nice young man right there? Turn around then. He'll come over to you. At the end of the meeting, now he's scary looking, this guy. No, at the end of the meeting, he'll come over to you. I'll take your name and number, I'll pull up your address, and I'll try and find out for you, okay? It's not a problem. Yes, sir?
If you challenge your taxes at the beginning of the year, when are you gonna know whether you were successful or not?
Well, no, and that's why I like doing questions, primarily good questions. See, it used to take, kid you not, if we were talking 10 years ago, this would take you 14 months, because the county used to fight you tooth and nail. If any of you have owned a house for a while, it would take forever. It would take forever. The assessors would fight you tooth and nail, and at the end they lost and they pay out. The county has actually gotten into a system of a quicker turnaround. I know people that were getting offers in July, August. I had somebody who came in last week. The county wants to resolve these cases quicker, so the turnaround's a lot quicker for you to see it. So if you challenged last year, I would probably think, if you didn't get one by now, I would think that it would be this month. I mean, this is actually pretty long. I mean, all summer long, people were bringing, different offers to them. And when you get an offer, you have a choice. You can accept it, or you can reject it and ask for a conference. And if you get a 0, I'm not telling you. Turn the camera off for a second, Phil. I'm not telling you, but I'm telling you, all right? Ask for the conference. And by the way, and that's what I said, and I stress to people, just don't sit on the silence. Just don't sit there and say, oh, I can't find any houses that work, I'm not going to submit an application. This is the truth. I've had 5 people in the last 2 months come to me who submitted applications offering no proof, nothing, just sent in the application, and all 5 of them got offers of settlements. So that says to me, the county's wheeling and dealing. And also, on another side note, I could talk all day. All right, listen to me. Listen, there was an article last year that said, oh, these firms are getting better discounts than people do it themselves. That's all well and good. There was a key element missing from the article. How much was that discount? I'll give you 2 variables. She challenges her assessment herself, she gets a $1,000 reduction. How much does she get to keep? Everyone should answer the question. It's not a trick question. Don't be nervous. All right, folks, here we came a little bit late. All right, listen to me. All right? She challenges her assessment. She's the firm. The firm gets a, let's say, $1,600 reduction. How much does she get to keep? $800. Exactly. They didn't say what the difference in the number was. Maybe that firm is getting a higher number because they're walking in with thousands of cases, and the county wants to resolve them. You got to prove to me it's going to be, double what you were going to get doing yourself. And they didn't say that. So I still say, until it's proven otherwise, you challenge your assessment, you get to keep all your money yourself. Frankly, I'm a little more into keeping all my money myself. Plaid shirt right there.
I know you said that you don't know what the county is going to do. A lot of what's been in the paper recently is about people who haven't grieved.
Yeah.
And versus people who have grieved.
Yeah.
This was the first year I grieved, and I actually got a settlement offer, and I'm torn between, do I accept what they gave me, or am I going to get caught in some political loophole because I haven't grieved before?
You've been offered a settlement. No one can take that away from you. You can accept the offer and be on your way, or you might say, I want a bigger offer. You can reject the offer, all right? But you got an offer. No, right now, no one's going to take that offer away from you.
Am I going to get caught in that loophole when they finally reassess?
No, please. You're not. You challenged it last year. That window's done. It's closed. This is your picture in time. You're fine accepting that offer if you like that amount. When it comes to what's happening in the future, I don't know the exact deadlines. It looks like someone said to me, I think it was 2021 maybe,
Okay.
22. So you got a little time. But they got to explain, because there's one scenario out there that's saying, well, you had people who were doing their due diligence, challenging every single year, and you had people who didn't challenge at all because they didn't. I mean, look, if any of you didn't know to challenge your assessment, I can't believe you haven't come to one of my forums. This guy's come to 10 of these things, all right? But I'll tell you right now, they're saying, like, people who challenged it, well, your taxes might go up because they're going to lower the tax of people who didn't do it. That's what I'm saying. There are a lot of unanswered questions out there. But it's that 6% that gnaws me the most, because also, I also wanna know,
Well,
are
let's
they
just
going
start
to?
at a higher number.
Right, and are they going to Albany for any extra details? I don't know if any of you saw what happened over, I guess it was it Easter weekend? Remember that, when we got, they went up to Albany and they were trying to shut this down? Yeah, it was like the Wednesday, I got a phone call, like the Wednesday before Easter, and let me tell you right now, if you're gonna do something, government folks, you try and do it on a holiday weekend if it's really something bad, all right? Let me give you everything. So when I get a phone call, they're trying to shove stuff in the budget, New York State, a holiday weekend where people are out of town, I knew it was a red flag. And they were building in an amount that the county, you would challenge the assessment, and I think it was 5%, 5%. They were gonna have a 5% like built-in error rate. Well, that's all well and good. People are like, oh, they do it in other states. And my comment was, yeah, they do it in other states because people's tax bills are like $2,000, $3,000. This guy over here is facing a $20,000 tax bill. If I said Nassau County could build in a 5% automatic problem, that's a lot of money for people. If they want to have that legislation, it should be open, it should be addressed, it should be passed. They were trying to shove it in the budget. It was killed because of their end. A lot of the residents found out about it and they got upset. That's why I said, this is a big deal, the reassessment, all these things going on. But we don't know the full details. But your tax bill is the biggest portion of your bill. And let's also remember, we have a $10,000 write-off now. There is a SALT cap in effect that goes into next year. If you're talking that some people's tax bills are gonna go up, you better know. And that's why I said, I know I'm gonna keep the county. I want them, look, rent the high school. Have the assessor come down, explain to everybody how it's gonna impact you in Oceanside. This guy whose house went up, everyone deserves it. I deserve it. I deserve it. I pay taxes just like everybody else here, and that's why I said it's got to be open. It's got to be transparent. And there are just so many things I don't know the answers to. Yes, yes.
Just a quick question
Yeah.
about the star.
Mhm.
The homeowners like myself who bought a house after 2015, we're going to get a paper check, which I got for the first time last year.
Right.
That's going to be continuous?
Right now it
Or
is.
is it going to go back to taking it out of the bill like everyone
There, I reached out to a state senator who was going to put up a bill to put it all back on the tax bill. That makes sense. I mean, how crazy is that all of a sudden they go to a system where they're mailing her a check? We're in a day and age where we're trying to go electronic and they're mailing out checks to people. I mean, look, right now, anybody who buys 2015, the check's in the mail. If it changes, we'll let you know. We'll be on the tax bill and notify you. But right now, it's still checking
Should
back.
I check, though, you made a comment about if you did it the one time, then you check the box?
No, that's
Automatic.
basic star. Let's go through that again. Basic star, you apply once, automatically renewed. Enhanced star, you're a little young for enhanced star, so it's 65 years old. Young lady next year.
I'm a Baldwin resident.
Okay.
Is this only for one and two family homes or co-op?
Co-ops have different rules for challenging assessment. The discounts go to everybody. Co-ops for challenging assessment, you got to find out what your board allows. Does it have individual challenges in the units, or does it do it as a complex as a whole and then divvy up the discounts?
What about condos?
You just got to call and find out what the rules are in your association. Most of them do it as a whole.
It's an association.
Yeah.
If you own a condo, you don't own a
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, just call to verify that. Yes.
So I agreed this year, January 31st, online.
Right.
Easy.
Right.
And I got my letter September 7th.
Okay.
I got a reduction, and the number, it's not dollar.
The percent, yeah.
The number is 66.
Right.
So how does that translate?
What you'll do is at the end of this, KC is going to take a photo of that. We'll go back out, try and figure out in the next day or two what that amount will translate on your bill, and I'll give you a call and let you know.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there's any other way to translate, because they give you a bunch of numbers.
I'd have to look at your bill and kind of figure it that way. Yes, sir.
Back to the basic star. If you filed for one, new bill comes out this week. If it's not on the bill.
When did you file for it? Now or last year?
Last year.
Then it should be on the bill this year.
It's not.
Well, no, you didn't get your bill yet.
Well, I looked online today.
Then at the end, give your name and number to Casey, and we'll call and try and find out where you're
Because
at.
I thought you said it's not.
Oh, no.
Better than enough.
You applied for it last year. When did you buy your house?
Last year.
So you would get the check in the mail.
Right, so it's not on the bill.
Correct.
So how do you know they are?
We'll verify it for you. It's not a problem. Okay? Yes, sir.
Forgive my ignorance.
Don't say that, please.
A few minutes ago, you said something about 10,000 soft cap.
No, cap. Last year, the feds changed the rules. That's, they changed the rule that you can only deduct up to 10,000. That's why 16,000, that's why 16,000 people showed up at my office between Christmas and New Year's to pay their taxes. I mean, but, and no, by the way, it was the best time to ever be in my job because people were so nice. I received one complaint from 16,000 people. And then it was so nice. The last day I bought coffee for people, and people paid their taxes, went out and got donuts and were bringing it back for other residents. It was really nice. But that's what I said. You know, with the $10,000 cap, that affects all of us. How's the reassessment going to change numbers? Because you know you're limited on what you can deduct now. One there. Yes.
As far as the $86,300, if you receive money from an RMD, an annuity, or a pension, are those all applied?
You'd have to talk to your accountant to find out which is taxable income for those purposes. So, you know, are any of them taxable income? So call, you got an accountant?
Yeah.
Call your accountant. He'll let you know if you're going to qualify for it. He'll tell you what you can do. And also remember, there are some deductions you can use to try and lower the number too. Some medical expenses can be used. But talk to your accountant and ask him what they'll include. Yes, sir.
First of all, I want to thank you for all the work you did at the end of last year with all the salt stuff. I understand you bought the donuts.
No, listen up. My money can only stretch so far. Mrs. Clavin would appreciate all that.
My question also is this, okay? According to the papers and current whatever, she was saying that she was doing us all a favor. I wrote this down. The level of assessment for residential properties, she wants an executive order to make it 0.1% rather than what?
0.25.
Yeah. So, what does that mean?
Listen, your question is the question I had. That I said, what significant impact or benefit does it have? It's all well and good to go out. Like I said, I like the county executives. Very nice person. It's all well and good to say this is going to be great for you. That right then and there makes me say, ooh, oh, wait a minute. You're not telling me this is going to be good for me. I better be a little concerned. But the fact that that Newsday editorial today comes out and says, this is going to be painful for some people. You know, Newsday doesn't really write those editorials quite a bit. You know, they're big proponents of revamping the assessment system in Nassau County. But for them to write it, it says exactly what you're saying. There are a lot of unanswered questions out there. They've got to come out and explain to you, what's this drop going to do? Are you removing this 6% cap, so is there a chance that a homeowner could see a double-digit tax increase? When would you prepare for that? Because I'm saying, you know, we have a couple of years, but you have to be prepared for this. It's like saying to you, if they did it tomorrow, and all of a sudden your taxes went up 15%. I'm sure your monthly or yearly, you know, pension has not gone up 15%. And that's what I'm saying. They gotta explain this so people understand. Because if not, you're gonna get sticker shock. And if there's a benefit, people, they should explain that as well. They could say this one, you've been paying over a month for 20 years. You're gonna go down. That's great, but they gotta explain it either way.
So that
we're working on something.
that should not interfere with our thinking and your suggestion that we still
challenge it. You still challenge it. Still challenge it. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, by the way. I was going to do 15,000. I was inside and I wasn't waiting out.
It was fun. It was good. It really was a nice time.
So my question is, how long have these exemptions been in place? And are any other new exemptions coming down the pipe?
These exemptions, well, the STAR and the Enhanced STAR probably started in the late 90s. Veterans was in the 90s, if not earlier. Probably the only new one that's probably come out since 2001, maybe was volunteer firefighters, new one. And as for other exemptions, look, there's always a nice idea to expand it. The problem is funding them. You know, I would love to have exemptions for other individuals. The problem is, you know, it comes to $1 a cent saying, you know, how are you going to fund it? And that's the real issue. Like I said,
there are no talks for anything.
There are no talks to have it for a very nice person in the back row discount. No, there's no talks. So listen, I'm not going to disappear, but I will give you the #1 question I get at all the meetings. It says, how come I have to write Donald X. Clavin Jr., receiver of taxes on the check? Your name's too long and it doesn't fit. The reason is, I am personally liable for all the money. If any money goes, yes, this is true. This woman's like startled up here. True. If any money goes missing, Don Clavin has to come up with the difference. I didn't even tell my wife this until after we were married, all right? As long as you write D. Clavin, receiver of taxes, that's sufficient, we can cash that. We have had some people write something else, receiver of taxes. I'm gonna say that in front of the women, but that's it. Look, I'll be back here, if you're really bored, I'll be back tonight, but I'll be back here in January, February. Tony usually has me come right at the beginning of January. We'll go through challenging your assessment. In addition, if there are any updates on the assessment system, we'll try and get that out either on the town webpage or social media, or even through the local papers. But thank you all very much for coming out, and a great afternoon to all of you. You stay right there.